Welcome to Secondary Voices and Topics from today's high school students.
All right, everybody. This is Colton and Kason back for another podcast, and we're going to be talking about the Wendigo this time.
Yeah, should be fun.
Mm.
It's a creature with a lot of
Fame.
yeah, and like a lot of people talk about it. So there's a lot of information.
Yeah, it's very big on TikTok.
Yeah.
You have anything you want to say on the Wendigo before I start reading sources?
Not really. I think we should just get into it this time.
All right. Pull that up real quick. Wants to load. There it is. All right. Wrong tab. Hang on. There it is. All right. What was that for newsletter? All right. Legend has it that the Wendigo was a lost hunter facing starvation using a brutal. Can't talk right now. During a brutally cold winter, his intense hunger drove him to the taboo of all taboos, cannibalism. Shortly after feasting on human flesh, the man transformed into a beast-like creature, destined to roam the frozen forests of Canada and Minnesota in search of people to eat, never to be satisfied. Anything to comment on that?
Self-explanatory, I guess.
Yeah, I've heard other things about it where it could be like either like that, like a creature, and I heard one that can be a snow golem apparently with like an icy heart.
Well,
The only way you can kill it is if you chop it up and then like just burn it, or as the heart gets melted. That's it.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't think I've heard that one before. So
Yeah, I haven't heard of it for a while, but I've only heard it in like one other place. In a nutshell, that's the story of the Wendigo. Today, it's most certainly what we would call a myth, a legend, and even folklore. But while many myths and legends often fade with each generation's passing, the Wendigo still captures our attention. So what is it about this mythical creature? You want to read this part?
sure. The origins of the Wendigo. A Wendigo is a creature from Native American folklore, specifically Algonquin-speaking tribes. I don't know how to pronounce any of those. The word itself, Wendigo, comes from the Algonquin word meaning evil spirit. Wendigo folklore has been passed down through generations, and it remains a popular topic and subject of much speculation among indigenous peoples and scholars. While the myth of the Wendigo varies from tribe to tribe, most Native American folklore describes the creature as a beast-like humanoid creature that lives in the coldest parts of the world. Some people say that the Wendigo is a cannibalistic monster that feeds on human flesh, while others believe it is a vengeful spirit that punishes those who breaks the laws of nature. So, that means it could be like good or bad, depending on who you ask, I guess.
Yeah, I've heard that it's not like if you're dying, but it is as long as you eat any human flesh. I've heard stories where like people just like eat human flesh out of like boredom. It's very weird.
Yeah.
All right. What is sorry about? In the cold, harsh conditions of northern winters, the threat of starvation always loomed large. So much so that cannibalism was not unheard of. Many scholars believed that the myth of the Wendigo was intended as a means to keep people from participating in heinous acts. Did you actually know that there is a medical term for this? I had it pulled up. It's called Wendigo psychosis, characterized by psychiatric manifestations such as paranoia, anxiety, hallucinations, and cannibalistic urges. Often emerges as a result of a fusion of cultural narratives and psychological vulnerabilities. So basically what it is it's like you feel like the need to eat human flesh, you know?
Yeah.
It's pretty weird. But it's pretty weird how it's like, because I heard it happens a decent chunk actually.
Yeah.
Obviously, it happens a decent chunk. This is like an actual term for it.
I think that a lot of people, like once they first experience cannibalism, sometimes they just feel like they can't go back or something. That's just what I've heard.
Yeah, it's like an addiction, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Like, what's it called? Best school appropriate thing I can say is like maybe like sugar, candy.
Yeah.
Like you like holy, that's good. Let me get some more.
Yeah.
I get dig into the Halloween candy.
Exactly.
In some versions of the legend, a human transforms into a Wendigo after their spirit is weakened by extreme conditions, such as hunger and cold, typical of Canadian climate, or the Ojibwe. Ojibwe? I also go to say that actually. I think it's Ojibwe. Ojibwe. We'll go with that one. Lived in other legends. Humans became Wendigos, and when they're possessed by a prowling spirit in their weakest moments, anyone giving them into greed, gluttony, and excess was a likely candidate.
So I think probably the purpose of the Wendigo story is more like, because it said earlier in the text that it originated in like Canadian winters, and those are really harsh, and there weren't a lot of food. So I think probably the purpose of like the original main story was to prevent like cannibalism and other egregious acts at the time.
Like saying if you stick your hand in the cookie jar, the cookie monster's gonna get you.
Yeah.
Me and my friend, we actually have a story about this. He has a story, but mine's more interesting because I'm also here. What's it called? I remember it was out in Illinois. It was pretty far. I don't know where out. It's near a town called Ramsey. It's an hour or so away from there. It's pretty far though. I don't know exactly where. It's a farmer, rural area.
Yeah.
But me and my brother, there's a little corn maze behind where we were. It was their grandparents' house. And the best way I can describe it to you is two parallel corn, like, fields.
So, like, there was, like, a pathway in the
yeah,
middle?
like a small pathway leading to, like, a small shooting range. And we just go with, like, baseball bats and machetes and just beat bottles, stuff like that. And we were walking along the trail, and it's, like, half a mile walk. It's not horrible, but walking along giant corn mazes, especially like in like the summer where that's where they're actually grown and they're tall and you can't see past anywhere in curves. So it's kind of like a ginormous like maze, but just a lot scarier because people in this, if anything jumps out, it's not a person in a costume.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but we were walking, and it's rural. There's gonna be animals and stuff, and a coyote was like, it was like coming out of the cornfield and going back in. First time we thought it was like nothing weird at all, but it kept doing it over and over and over again, and it got like weird to the point it was entering in through one area, and then it would leave like behind us or like somewhere completely different.
Oh, yeah, that's weird.
And once we were getting near the end, one of the cornfield to our left, I'm 95% sure, has like a little more corn than the one on the right. So it's just, best way I can describe it is the right corn ends a little bit, the left one keeps going, and there's a field near the left one that's like nice and open. That's the shooting range area.
Right.
And we saw the coyote go from the right to the left where there was no corn, just in the open field area. And so we couldn't see him, but he was going like out there towards the field into the corner, and we saw him go there, and then we looked around the corner, he was just gone. There's nothing there.
Jeez.
It was really weird, yeah. Well, we don't have a lot of time because the bell is rung. You could hear it in the podcast. So, all right, we'll probably continue with this part two.
Yeah.
Some other time.
There's a lot more to this story, and it's really interesting. So.
Yeah, we'll talk about Swift Runner next time.
All right.
So yeah, he basically just killed Wendigo's claim too.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, that was the
I guess we'll see you next time on the Crptycast.
Hopefully.
Have a good one.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Secondary. If you enjoy this content, then please, by all means, share it out. Subscribe to us on Spotify and all the other platforms where you listen to your podcast. Until the next episode, we'll see you then.